Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to cover how to do number 6, which is the handle. So as always, start a new part file. Again, let's make sure our units are correct. It should be in millimeters. And this part, for me, I would do a revolve to create the general part. And then we'll do a chamfer and then also the threads at the end. So I would start a sketch on your front plane. Um, Again, for this revolve, we need to sketch half of the cross section. So you could start with a midpoint line in the vertical direction. I like to, whenever I'm using a midpoint line, I like to fix my center before I add my dimension, so that when I add it, it doesn't move my midpoint from where I placed it. In this case, the overall would be 95 plus 10 plus 10. So it should be 115, I believe. Or if not, you just type in the math into SOLIDWORKS, 95 plus 10 plus 10. Yep, 115. So that brings us to the top. And now we need to move over. How many units? That would be, if this is M10, so it's 10 across, it should be 5 from the center. And then we'll go back down 8 units, right? Because if this whole thing is 10 minus the 2. Zoom in a little bit. We'll come back down 8 units. And then if this is 5 and this is 8 in diameter, that means it's 4. So we should move 1 unit in. One unit in, 2 units down. And then if this is 8, this is 12. Let's see. So we're at down, over, down. This is 4. So we need to move 2 units to the right. And if we look at the bottom here, I believe it's a symmetrical part, right? So we're M10 on both sides. 10 over here, 8 in diameter on the neck, 2 units in length for that. So we should be able to mirror this. Let's find mirror. We want to mirror the parts we just made. I'll do a copy of that, right? And let's do this over what is now the x-axis. So we can find a plane, the top plane in this case. So if we mirror that over to the top plane, that's what that looks like. Then all we need to do now is connect these with a line. So there's that 95 unit line. So now we have our cross section. We should be able to revolve this about its center. So this line, revolve it 360 degrees. And that's the basis of our part. Um, Unfortunately, the chamfer dimensions aren't given to you in the drawing, but if you take a close look, you'll notice that these edges are chamfered. So let's go ahead and add that in. So find the chamfer tool. To make a chamfer, you can click on the edge specifically, or you can also, if you want to do both of these edges together, you can also just click on its face. So this face here. I also want to chamfer this face. Um, Again, the dimension for the chamfers aren't given to us, but we can give it an estimate. That's not bad. We'll stick to that 1 millimeter chamfer. And then now the last part to do is our threads. So I'll do these in two separate threads. Um, let's say we do the top first, right? So we find the whole wizard, find our threads, thread location. We'll start at the top edge. Um, our end location, we could do up to selection. And we'll make the bottom edge our stopping location. Let's take a look at what this would, let's see. We'll we'll restrain from using an offset for now. We can always come back and add one if we feel the need to. So again, this is going to be a shaft. So when you're threading a shaft, you need to use a die, not a tap, because taps are for threading holes, right? So in this case, we need to use a metric die. Our thread size should be M10 by, let's see if it says what it is exactly. Would be the same thread as the ball and the knob. So M10 by 1. Yep, M10 by 1. So let's find a M10 by 1 on our size. M10 by 1. We're going to cut these threads. Believe that should be it. Now let's take a look at our threads here. So you see this abrupt start and stop. So that means I'm gonna have to use a offset. So let me offset the start first. It went in the opposite direction, so let me flip that. Now I'm in the positive direction. Um, the number's not too important as long as it gets you past the thread itself. Could be anything greater or equal to or greater than this. Same thing for the end condition. We want to offset that further down. Um, but see, this would cut into the shaft, so let's maybe change that. That looks better. So let me see if that helped out, and it did. Now I have a nice clean start and a nice clean stop on my threads. So all we have to do now is do the same at the bottom. So we can just repeat the process for that. Again, let's do a thread. Start location here. Stop location at the other edge. Do an offset. Flip that. 2 millimeters works nice in this case. Same for the other one. 2 millimeter offset there. Metric die. M10 by 1. Cutting the threads. Right hand thread is standard, so everything looks fine. So that's made now. Let me just analyze this. That looks good. That looks good. All right, so that's about it, besides the color. Um, so let me just match up the color. You can click on the part right here, right click on it, go to appearances, click on the color for part 2. Let's change that to an orange. Save that. Now if I look at my side profile, it should match what's on the drawing. So just remember to save this. Let's do, we'll save this as, let's do problem 6, handle. All right. That was it for this problem. Thank you.